Okay. Hey, everyone. Right. Today, we're going to attend to tree data visualization. And maybe probably I have to study before we ask some few questions. Okay. Who can see what I'm sharing? Can you all see what I'm sharing? Good.
Yes. Data visualization.
Good.
Okay.
All right. When you hear the word, when you hear the concept, data visualization, what comes to your mind? Comes to your mind?
Visualizing data.
How data is being perceived.
Perceived. I love that. Two good insight. Good. Yeah. Who else again? Who else again?
Or how data is viewed, or method different ways of seeing data. Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. Who else again? Yeah. Who else again? What can you see there? Can somebody read it for me? What you can see there?
Data visualization.
Yeah.
Data visualization is the art and science of presenting complex data sets visually, allowing for the exploration, analysis, and communication of insight in a more intuitive and compelling manner. It involves transforming raw data into graphical or interactive visual representations that make patterns, trends, and correlations easily understandable. The example: consider a scenario in which a retail company wants to analyze its sales performance across different regions over the past year. Instead of going through endless spreadsheets, they use data visualization tools to create interactive maps and charts. This visuals helps them identify which regions have seen the highest and lowest sales, understand seasonal trends, and pinpoint areas for potential growth and improvement.
Good. I don't know you can read like this very well, so I'm supposed to be prompting you to be reading all the time. This is cool. This is cool. Wow. So what can you see? What can you glean from here by understanding?
To my understanding, data visualization is the way data is being communicated.
Yeah.
And the way data is being presented and analyzed visually.
Yeah.
And it has to be very interactive. So basically, when presenting data, it has to be in form of graphical or interactive visual representations.
I think my understanding of what data visualization is the fact that it's not only an art subject, it's also science, in the sense that it represents how we consume. It represents how we consume data, how we practically get an insight understanding of data in an instant, and how such data can be presented not only to shareholders, but to those other parties who may have a need for the use of such data, whether now or in the future. So data is at once a clear and graphical representation of things not only in the past, it can also represent things of now and things in the future. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Who is speaking us? Thank you so much for.
So, from what this is saying is that data visualization is a graphical display of trends to the layman, using things like Power BI, Excel, Python, charts like that. So the layman immediately sees the data and knows straight away what each of the data on there represents. Say, for example, a bar chart showing differences in population sizes. If you're telling me Nigeria has got 50 million people, South Africa has got 60 million people, I might not remember those figures. But if you show me on a bar chart immediately and I see Nigeria side by side to South Africa, to UK and all that, immediately my eyes will go to the highest bar on that chart and say straight away, South Africa has the highest number of population in the world, or India has the highest number of the population in the world. But if you put them for me using text or putting them like some sort of theoretical way, I will probably not know what you're talking about straight away. So for me, it's a pictorial representation of what you want to convey, especially to the layman's knowledge.
That is really, really good. Yeah. Okay. I want everybody to relate example, as you've just said, anyone who wants to contribute, because this is really key wherever you work. Okay? This is really key.
A typical example of data visualization is when companies tend to present their end of year sales to shareholders and to other third-party people or persons who may have a need for such complex data has been presented. I.e., at the end of the year, companies come out with declared, showing it graphically that this year we've made £10,000 compared to last year. They did not compare it compared to last year's sales. So they are in fact in it for profits, and how much they will share among the shareholders, or which shareholders will get or benefit from the which type of shareholders will benefit from the profit made for this year. Or sometimes too, data can be represented such that the amount they make this year, the total amount they've produced this year is higher than the previous year due to demand for the product. And this can be graphically shown by way of presentations and showing the growth pattern, the trend, and the total sales for this total sales or total amount of product for the year of a particular period. That's why sometimes we have the Q1, Q2, Q3 quarterly representations. All these are quite clearly displayed via data visualizations in big corporations and enterprise. I think that explains a little bit of what I understand.
That is very, very explicit. Very cool. If your hands up.
Yeah, I was saying it's just like another example will be in a school where you have the highest scoring number of students, be they boys or girls. You can easily compare them using a pie chart, using a histogram, using a bar chart. You can straight away compare them, and anyone can come into the school and say, right, what was the percentage of girls that passed last year compared to the boys that passed last year? Once they show it to you on the screen or something, straight away you can say, oh, the girls made higher scoring in maths, or they made the higher scoring in English, or the boys were much more better at sciences. So it's a good comparison. Data visualizations are good tools used for comparing differences between different sets of images, algorithms, different things. You can use data visualization. So it's not limited to a particular visualization tool. It could be using Power BI. You can even use an Excel spreadsheet. You can even use Microsoft Word. As long as it's showing the comparison, you're good to go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Mary, you give example from planning. If you can hear me from there. Okay.
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, can you give an example of visualization from planning aspect, from planning field settings?
From planning field settings, the visualization has to do with using tools, reporting tools, such as Power BI, as Ife has mentioned earlier. Also, we can also use the S-curve tool. S-curve, we can use Excel, creating an S-curve graph, visualizing how visualizing the data trends in a project. Visualizing if the projects are started, the activities that have been completed, the one that is ongoing, and also if there is and also showing the resource pool in the project. So basically, generally, data visualization is has to do with presenting data in a graphical way that stakeholders can actually understand.
Thank you so much. I am so happy that most of you have got insight into reality of what data visualization is. Yeah, and for example, we're talking about, let me just start from the planning aspect of it. And, from my experiential insight in data planning, planning in construction company, also managing control projects. For example, you in a planning setup, you you have resources allocations, and also you have a concept called what is called planning, plan value, and also we have what is called M value management. Is that correct, Mary and any consultant planning? Have you heard the concept of M value management before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you have the plan value of a project of maybe £1,000 or just £1,000, and you have a actual cost, which is maybe £700, and you want to calculate the end value, you begin to see the variance either in negative direction or not. Those are become data. And
Yes.
data will be visualized in your end value management calculation. And what a stakeholder, especially if you want to know, is the baseline or the milestone hasn't been achieved. Why is it not being achieved? What are the variants? These are the things you need to show up, display in your Power BI. That's what they want to see.
Yes.
How many resources has been put in terms of human capital or human material or money themselves. So why is it that we spend so much money when we have only done 50% of it? So we have negative aspects. So by index, by cost performance index, you may be working below standard and spending too much money at a time for a little percentage of work has been performed within the project that has been planned. So those things has to be visualized out for stakeholders, especially the chief executive who you as a project manager and a program manager have already told that, you know what, this is a milestone, this is a milestone, this is a milestone. They want to see the milestone. Has it been achieved? Why? So that's where project control comes in. Project control manager comes in, and then project control manager have to really discuss with the program manager and the planner itself. What is happening? Then they will now begin to have a domain to which they take decision and carry the whole issue to commercial to see who is going to have liability on that. So these are the things. If these data are not right, then you'll not be able to control project, not be able to have a proper evaluation of a project, whether it's lagging or not lagging. So why is it lagging? Why is it lagging? And is it because of long lead time items that were not installed at the appropriate time, or some of the activities, are they dependent or not dependent? Or is there any float? What kind of float that's going on? So these are the things that you need to put in as data and then visualize that. That is sense of planning. But like what are more related to the other time, Omo made mention of sales. That is absolutely, in fact, even when you are doing when you are doing end of year revenue calculations, you're always going to compare with the previous. Always going to compare with previous, whether you have improved or why you have not improved. Are we meeting our corporate objectives with respect to what is expected? Why are we not doing that? Is it because our data are not having integrity? Why are they not having integrity? Is it because we do not have enough capital, human capital, that have the expertise to make sure they produce the highest value that we expected of our data? And if it's so, then are we going to employ somebody like Omo, who is an expert? So these are the things that we need to look into. So if data are not visualized, as Mary said, it will lead to a lot of things. And data visualization shows whether we are going to go on properly or we're going to revisit our situations. So data visualization always project a domain to which stakeholders take an informed decision. It might not be 100% by virtue of maybe natural issues that has occurred or not, like the flood or inflation rate that has not been taken into account when you're doing that. That is the role of business analyst, which of course, if you are a business analyst, you'll be able to know how to read data and also analyze what you have, what has been visualized, and why you can now bring in business intelligence in to see the best way the company can move forward. Is very, very key. I think somebody, if he had, so you want to say something before, can you just say whatever you want to say?
Oh, yeah. Okay, what I was going to say at the beginning.
Yes, please.
Okay, so over the week before last, I got called for a job for which I applied. And what I was going to say is that even though it was a different job from data governance, I was able to use what I had learned from data governance to apply to aid in that interview. So immediately they were saying something else. I immediately brought in data initiatives using initiatives, which I had done in a previous job, because I was just remembering everything on data governance. And that's what I was using for that particular job. So I got taken for that job. And then last week again, I did another interview again, just for the fun of it, because I had accepted the first job. So this week, on Monday again, I had another interview, and I was called again on Wednesday that I had been taken for the interview. But I actually went in for that interview for the fun of it. So using what I had learned in this class is what I applied in that interview, because a lot of times we're talking about situations which we all experience in our day-to-day lives. We talk about task, we talk about action, and then we talk about what the results was from that particular situation. So we use it in our everyday life. So I was able to apply that. In fact, I even said from his empirical data, from descriptive data in the past. In fact, I was just bringing out everything about data, even though the interview was more for project planning. So I got the first job the week before last, and I got the second job this week. And they were begging me on the second one to say, I should please take the job. The agency has been begging me, I should please take the job. So I said I was thinking about it. And they said there's nothing to think about. I said, look, I've got a month's notice where I am presently working. I didn't tell them I had another job offered to me, but as I had a month's notice where I'm presently working, they said, okay, as you're working your month's notice, can't you start working for us immediately? So I said, you want me to do 2 jobs side by side? Is that allowed? And they said, well, for you, we'll do anything to cut the corners. So it was very funny because they've been sending me emails and emails and emails. And both jobs are equally as good as the other. So one is a contracting job.
Talking about the juicy out of it.
Yes. So one is a contract and the other one is a permanent position. So both of them, what I'm trying to say is that using data governance, the techniques learned in data governance, I was able to apply them in those jobs. So for everyone else here who will be going out for an interview, whether it be data governance, whether it be data analyst job, or whether it be just a job in your field, what you will need to do is use situations to report on those, to answer questions on those jobs. Sometimes you don't even have to wait for them to bring a question up before you put in what you want to put in. Because I remember they were saying, tell us about yourself. And then normally you would say, blah, blah, blah. My name is so. I've been working for so number of years, expert in so field. I've got skills. Well, over the years, I've been able to utilize the skills learned, like Power BI, data governance, that, agile, and all that, to bring me to the forefront of this particular profession. And then I said, in fact, as I'm talking to you now, I just remembered an incident that happened to me when I was a project planner for a different company called Engr. How I was able to use my initiative to get things kicked off from the start. I was able to do this and able to do that. In fact, before I finished the interview, I knew they had taken me, because then I was the one that prompted, any more questions? They said, no, we don't have anything to say. So that's for everybody on this platform.
Thank you so much.
Take whatever is being said, use the examples here if you have to use them in such a way that you can bring them, relate them to your own profession. And before you know, this car will, in fact, you'll be the one selecting jobs and telling them no.
Even this morning, I understand that Rolls-Royce got back.
Yes, Rolls-Royce too called me and said,
You have to choose.
Is it all right for us to leave your CV on in our database, because we think your CV is so brilliant? We would love for you to apply for a job when we have another job coming up. And I said, it's all right. But of course, that's for me to decide whether or not. But that's just an advice to everyone, that we should just keep listening to what everyone else is saying. Take notes if you have to. Use the examples. You can glean example from anywhere. It doesn't have to necessarily be your own job. I was telling someone, sorry, I'm prattling on a bit. I was telling somebody the other day, I remember there was a lady who came to ask me to help her with her CV. And she was saying, right, but I have never managed a project in my life. I said, who told you haven't managed a project in your life? She said, well, I don't do projects. I said, have you ever built a house? Have you ever been involved in building a house for yourself or your father, or even buying a house or going on holidays? And she said, yes. I said, that's a brilliant example to use. So someone asks you, well, I haven't managed a project officially, but I remember managing a project in my personal life where I had to, first of all, buy a piece of land, clear the land, that's excavation. When they cleared the land, they found that the land was quite murky and watery. So they now started filling it, that's piling. And they got to the foundation. From the foundation, when it got to a certain base, we ran out of money. So that's budget. And then there was no time. And then the amount our forecast was even far above what I wanted to spend for that particular project. You just go on and on and on. And then we ran into issues with the officials of the council, because they didn't want me to continue building. They said, I cannot put my fence where I wanted my fence to be. So there are so many reasons we can use. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, because even Barrister Emmanuel has always been saying this all the time. That what happened to Rina happened to Barrister Emmanuel all the time. So there's no interview that he will just go for interview for the fun of it. They will be dragging him, come on. Why? Because it's how we perform matters. And even myself, I just got another one recently. So it's like the interview that's supposed to take 45 minutes. It took only 15 minutes. They say they were even giving me induction from the interview. So it's very important that we get to understand what is going on here. Okay.
Sorry, just before, I know Mr. Louis' hand was up before my hand, just before it comes in. And nowadays, a lot of times they will tell you to come for 1, 2, 3 interviews. That's what a lot of organizations do. For my interviews, just that first interview, they decide straight away they're taking you or not. So I've only done one interview for both organizations, and I was taken straight away.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations. Congratulations. I think that's what we're going to say to you. Louis, if you can talk.
Yes, Pastor, good morning, everyone. First of all, congratulations to Madam on your new job. Also, you, Pastor, though it was is expected. I don't know why I don't feel really amazed. It's something that I already know that is possible to happen because of the way how sharp you guys are. Also, why I raised my hand, let me quickly lower it quickly, was on the topic you raised, Pastor, about lagging. And you were a bit fast. You spoke some things about lagging, identifying these are problems in data and why it's not actually yielding results. And you spotted them, and then you went further. To me, I feel you skipped a bit, and which is why I actually raised up my hand. Okay. And you went as far as bringing the intelligence for data intelligence to step in order to yield solutions on how to implement such lagging. My question is to, if you could expatiate more on scenarios. First of all, how the lagging came about, how it was spotted, and things put in place to mitigate it, and also bringing in other data managers or departments to step in to use more data. You spoke about integrity and all of that, but I was why I raised up my hand was for you to be a bit more explicit, because these are scenarios that which can come up in interviews, and we can tap into that.
Okay.
To bring scenarios in situations for data governance job interviews. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I only brought that because we're talking about scenario with respect to data visualization. And but because you mentioned lagging, because I'm using a scenario of data of planning job. So if the progress of the construction or the project you are into is not meeting up the expectation, there could be something that is causing it. So, and it might be that all equipment ordered are lagging behind in terms of time, long lead times. Long lead times is like there are equipment that have got all long lead times before the arrival. So if the project is expected to have a milestone and that milestone must be met, and that including some of the items that need to be installed in that construction, has to also meet up with the deadline of the milestone, then
That's deliverables.
we have to look into the ordering level and the equipment installation time and equipment delivery. If the equipment delivery is not meeting up with the timing plan to ensure the milestone is met, then the progress will be lagging behind. So will not be real time. So what normally would if you want to put a scenario on that, you already have data on based on the ordering level and arrival and installation. So we pre-advise your client that now that the construction has not taken place, and you want the commission to take place within 6 months, and to order that thing to meet up with the time, it take eight months. So you have to pre-advise during the concessional time, which of course probably will be 9 months or 8 months before the arrival for installation. So that is called a pre-advise plan, because you got data, so that the progress of your construction or of your project, the progress of your project will not be lagging behind time. That's what I said. Coming to that again, outside that, we must have what's called real-time analytics. That is about the process of analyzing data as it's generated to provide immediate insight. That means as it comes, you analyze. So that is real time. So if you don't do that, that definitely is not real time anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hello?
Yes, Pastor.
Okay, why I'm saying this is if you have a data and it has to be visualized. If you want to see, if you see when stock market is fluctuating or moving, it's milliseconds. As the data comes, you analyze and you visualize so that people will see, have a domain to which they can take decision for investment. That's why those who are in stock market, they don't want to sleep. They want to watch data. They want to watch as they are coming up. They want to work data real time so that they will not be lagging. Sometimes, if you don't come on real time, it's lagging. When you invest, you could lose. That is what they do in stock markets. So visualization can be real time so that it will not lag. It's about timing. You understand that now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you have visualized a lot in using Power BI. Okay. And that's why we're treating this cohort seriously now. Okay. So we have said that data visualization is the art and science. This is very important, of representing complex data set virtually, allowing for the exploration, analysis. You know, you have done a lot of analysis on data as well. A communication of insight. That is where the visualization takes place. You need to communicate, like Mary said the other time. It helps to communicate to all stakeholders, especially the chief executive, for them to have insight into reality and have a compelling manner, So this involves transforming raw data, which you normally collect data from different sources when you are doing a initiative with using Power BI, okay? And then this raw data, you now present it in a more graphical form to be visually seen in such a pattern and trends and have a correlation easily that is understandable by everyone that concerned.
Chidera.
So on that basis, it is very important that we consider a scenario like in which when Mary was reading the other time, a retail company wants to analyze its sales performance across different regions over the past years, which of course, Lewis, you have done that. You have done the one from Ontario, Canada. You've done the one in Europe, you don't know, in US. You now enrich it with geographical locations as well in order for the insight to be more useful. So you analyze different regions over the past years. Instead of going through endless spreadsheet, maybe using Excel, they use data visualization tools to create interactive maps and charts, which of course, when Madam and Mary was talking about it at that time, he used Power BI, of course, Power BI to just create search. You, Louis, have done that several times too. And I have also given you a very more complex data that I personally use SPSS, but I will give it to you in Power BI. You were able to come out with results as well, which is very, very good. So these visuals help then, help everyone, especially stakeholders, to identify which region have seen the highest and lowest sales. And on that basis, you will be able to have a domain which take decision in terms of production or investment as well. So understand seasonal trends, or maybe Christmas, during Christmas, this is what people buy, children buy during Easter, this is what people buy, so you'll be able to know how to pinpoint areas for potential growth and improvement. That is what it is. And if you are a data governance and also data analyst, you have not come to understand visualization, I think you need to really understand it seriously. They normally employ people as a visualization officer, and then working with data analysts and data engineers, then data governance. Then when they have finished, they present the data, and then the data visualization officer will now visualize it and have a domain to which people take decisions. The business analysts will come in, business analysts and business intelligence. They will come and read the data and advise the stakeholders where we should go, especially when there are a lot of user story that has come, and you need to have advice in various places. Very important. Okay. All right.
Well, Pastor, there are occasions where, from my own experience, upon which in last 1 year, I ventured into forest trading, where live data, where you need to process live data, raw data, to anticipate what the rate of a particular currency will be, or what a currency is being traded upon. And BI data visualization is one of the greatest tools to use. It's raw. You're seeing it. If you don't use it at that moment, you are done.
Now you're able talking about real time, isn't it?
Yeah. Real time. So I think data visualization has come to stay.
Well, obviously, it's not nowhere, because it's even dynamic, it's evolving right now. Like
exactly.
I'm telling you, because right now, let me tell you something. Most softwares, they're having data visualization as a default.
Exactly.
As soon as you put it in there, visualize. Even Excel. That's why I want everyone to have Excel certificate. I've sent a link to everyone. But I mean, you study this thing, get the certificate. I'll give you raw data. You visualize it, because that's the paying people. There's a job that came to me. he came to me. I said, who will I give this job to? If they just only needed an Excel.
That's it.
And somebody who is say, I need somebody, visualization officer that is good on Excel. What?
Even
And
transport, even transport for London.
720 pounds a day. 720 pounds a day. That is why I'm pushing everyone to make sure you get this Excel. Get Excel. Play around with, get the certificate, even if it's not to 750, at least if it is 400 pounds a day, get it and move, because it just almost all the, look at Mary was speaking about, was speaking about planning because she's a planning consultant. In it, automatically by default, visualization is there.
Yeah.
Okay. And automatically, whatever you do, if you say, okay, I need variance from original plan, pam, it will come up.
Quick money.
Then, okay, then in the right report, based on this variance, why did it happen? Pam, it will come. And then the report will be taken to, I think business analysts will begin to analyze why the report is like this, why the visual is like this. And then the business intelligence, we always now communicate from intelligence gather from this and that. I think everybody here has to get BI because BI certified. I'm a BI certified. I'm a business analyst certified, Scrum and Agile. So the more you have this supporting your role, the higher you go, the more sellable you are. You see, if it was speaking about herself, when she had finished speaking, only one question, people lack questions. They don't even know what to answer because you have come to know. Each time when Barrister Manuel keep on saying something here, we must keep it in a way that, because that makes the difference you are or who you are. When you are in a business, when you're working in business, you come out with this idea, they know who you really are. People will be very surprised. Okay, they will say, oh, come on, this is somebody I will work with. That's how it is. So it's very important. Thank you for that question. Let's have a look at the challenges you meet, challenges you may meet during visualization. One of the challenges in data visualization is selecting the right word.
Type.
There's only one person there. The right word.
Type.
Or visualization.
Or visualization.
For a
specific data set
or scenario. Is that correct?
Yes.
Always remember when they ask you, okay, what are the challenges you met during visualization? You say, one of it is selecting the right type of visualization for specific data set or scenario. Sometimes choosing an appropriate chart or graph can misrepresent the data. Very important. You have your data is of high quality already, is well valued, but when you are representing it, it doesn't interpret what how the integrity of the data will be. So, or fail to highlight the intended understanding that the stakeholder may have. Another challenge is ensuring that the visualization remains clear and understandable. So if you are in a stock market, hello, your hand is up, Ife.
Yes, I was going to refer to that one, that sometimes it might not be appropriately represented. So using an S-curve might not show a picture like what Mary was saying, might not show what exactly you intend to convey to your audience. So it depends on the audience. If it's an audience of high-level directors, probably they want to sit in a different place, in a different way. If it's laymen, they might probably want to sit in a different way. And then sometimes, like we talked about Power BI, Excel, and all that, if you use histograms, it might show what you want to, but the information might be too much. So the histograms could just go on and on in that particular chart. The same thing too with bar charts. Then sometimes, like for the Power BI, you find that the visual representation of data in Power BI, you can put as much as you can into Power BI. It will show it all up. Same data cannot be put into a pie chart because the pie chart can just take so many without it being very squiggly. So it really depends on what's on the audience you are trying to convey your whatever representation you're making to. So it really that's my understanding of what that says. So do you go for a pie chart? Do you go for a bar chart? Do you go for histogram? Do you go for an S-curve? Do you go for a linear curve? Depends on what you need to go to convey your message.
Good. Absolutely, you are right. That's why we need to also understand the complexity of data you're having to represent. Please, this is very important because when you are talking as a professional in terms of visualization, you need to talk about the complexity of data you are representing and on which domain, or especially probably you want to also talk about the platform you're using matters as well. So are we going to be heavy hidden? Because that will be the reason why you need to choose the right type of visualization that you need to use to represent your data set. Okay, so these challenges are out there. As we begin to go, as we highlight, thank you so much, Ife. As we have highlighted this, they are always going to, that is why sometimes when you are using very high level data, more complex data, you want to have a range of them. A range from 0 to 10, from 10 to this, or from 20, or you want from 0 to 100, and that kind of thing. If you want to reduce the range and then later expand the one that have high, visualization that you want to take decision, and you expand it again later. But whichever may be the case, we should choose the right one for good data set, for the specific data set you want to. Okay, so what are the solutions to this? Well, to address these challenges, it is crucial to understand the data. That's what I said the other time. Complexity of the data thoroughly before creating visualization. Do you understand your data? That's where the data analytics and data analysts need to come in very well. You need to explain the data. So is it what kind of analytics it is? Can somebody tell me the different kind of analytics, data analytics?
Sorry, the difference between what? Sorry.
Can you tell me the different analytics you understand through the training?
Descriptive analytics.
Descriptive, that one deals with what?
Prescriptive.
Yeah, I mean descriptive. What does descriptive deal with?
Describing data.
What kind of data?
Any kind of data. You can use it for any kind of data.
What kind of data do you use descriptive for?
You could use to describe, well, so in a shopping, in a
retail.
Mean is
what descriptive, what if you say data is descriptive, what are we actually referring to?
Well, we're referring to a date. We're referring to the data that needs some sort of description.
Yeah, of course. What data are we describing, for example?
Oh, you mean the example?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
Okay, so we're talking about, when we talk about descriptive, we're talking about this, what historical.
Maybe
historical data. Historical data. That's what you're describing historical data. That's a spatial data. I mean, by data that already exists in that way you're describing in your analytics.
Okay, data from past source, past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what we're talking about. The solution to it is to understand your data. Is this data secondary data already existing? That means, in research, you have what's called secondary data, and we have primary data. So this one is secondary data. That means already existing data, historically or by experiential.
Yep.
So that we have a domain to which you can move forward on that. So what next is there? What next analytics we're talking about again?
It's predictive.
After what you were talking about just now, was it more of explaining the lineage?
No, we're not talking about lineage. That is historic. That's a lineage where more or less like The lineage is connectivity. You want to know the history of the data, where it's coming from, where it's going, just like a model of it when you are doing a analysis. Anyway, Power BI initiative, you're doing a data quality initiative when you're bringing in data from different data sets, and you see how are they lining up together to when you want to integrate them. But that's quite different. I'm talking about analytics aspect of it, which of course is talking about descriptive. Where is the source of it? Is it historical? Yeah. If it's historical, like secondary data already existing, and you want to analyze it to look at the trend and what will happen in the future. So what is the next analytics, please?
So that's what you're saying now, is that you can only describe what has existed.
Yes.
Yes, that's descriptive. Yeah.
Yes.
What has existed? Yeah. Yeah.
We have diagnostic analytics too.
Diagnostic analysis, that's very good. And John put here predictive data as well.
Yeah.
Okay, on the chat box. John
we
said
also have prescriptive analytics.
Yeah, prescriptive analytics. That one you have to recommend. Okay, with data. So now, if you do not understand, let me read what John said here. Predictive data is used for risk assessment, like the weather. Oh, yes, that's forecast. John, you are right.
Yeah.
So
it's used to predict any future outcomes. So we use the past data to predict future outcomes.
That's correct.
Why is there no summer sales now? Because the weather is horrible.
Yeah, that's very, very correct. So yeah, so that is where we're talking about. So one of the solutions that you have, it is crucial you understand your data thoroughly. Okay, and before creating visualization, choose visual elements that best represent. So the visual, that's what, if it was speaking about the different kind of chart or graph, whatever, that best suit the data set, okay, that you want to represent, okay? The relationships and the pattern within the data. Additionally, employ interactive features in visualization to allow users. So if you don't make it more user-friendly and more interactive, it will be difficult for the users, for the user to exploit the data further and derive an insight into reality tailored to the specific needs that is required. So it's very important that to ensure clarity, use proper labeling, color schemes, and label principles that enhance rather than obscure the information presented. So if we want to see this by next Saturday, we might have to do Power BI. Want to see whether it's possible, Louis, or we need to have it one of the evenings so that when everybody's ready for it, so that you see how it will be represented, how data will be visualized. Is that okay, everyone?
Yeah, but one other factor I can see here, which is not included, which is not inclusive here, is the type of technology to present this whole thing. If you don't have the appropriate technology in place, you can't get a solution to some of these factors that I see here.
That's correct. Yeah.
I.e., like a place I worked, it's called XFX.
Yeah.
Is a film producing company in central London. Yeah. And sometimes when we set up these systems to ensure that we can have an interactive presentation with stakeholders in America, it's an American-based company. Sometimes we're not able, because when they are doing their presentation, there are glitches. There are so many things that will, the people here don't understand. And at the end of the day, we are forced to go and get the appropriate technology that will make it possible.
Ensure that. Yeah. So you, as a data governance or visualization officer, are able to relate that to your stakeholder, your chief executive.
Yes, yeah.
This is very important. That's why Barrister said something. He said data should be used. Data should be used that best represent the organization. Okay, you are working on or project you are working on. So also we have, as a data governance, you should be very vast in all data categories. That's the understanding you're talking about now. Okay, and technology, creativity, and innovation are very, very paramount. Before then, I think, if you mention, that was why she was mentioning different kind of tools that they may use. Yeah, I think she made mention of Python code tool and
yeah.
Python is a good one too. So I have John here. John is a Python coding certified. I think I will do that as well in the course. Very important. If your hand is up.
Yeah, I was going to say that with data visualization too. So if you're looking for, take for example, with ladies, you're looking for clothes. If you type in clothes into Google search bar, it will bring up different stores, different shops. You would have Temu, you would have this, you would have that. It will bring them all up. So the one that is more aesthetically pleasing to your eyes and that you feel you have the lowest price is what you're going to click on.
Correct.
So that's one of the ways in which data visualization has been used by all these shops to bring it to our forefronts. So you go into Google, you want to buy furniture, and you type in furniture, it will bring up Argos, it will bring up these, it will bring up Lakeside, it will bring up all that. And then you just have a quick run through all of them and say, okay, right, this one looks more pleasing to my eyes. I'll click on that one.
Okay, thank you. But I can also tell you that the reverse may be the case in terms of
Absolutely.
Yeah, because the thing is that people tend to allow within a platform their product to be on top, while the cheapest one are below, but the same quality.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so but as soon as you finish buying one, you look at below, you discover that it's maybe £2, £3 difference.
Yeah, but Pastor, too, AI has override reading a lot of things, such that once you type in clothing, like what Madam have just said, right, they will analyze, it will go quickly to analyze what was a former pattern, particularly if she's using the same laptop, to look at what is a pattern of
that is see, this is how it is, the pattern of historical pattern.
Yeah, and they'll pop up.
They're using the analytics.
Yeah, analytics,
yeah. So that is very important. So it's good for us to know what we are doing. Having understand that, enhancing data visualization techniques through continuous learning, experimenting with different visualization tools, and considering user feedback can significantly improve effectiveness of conveying insight from data.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to be doing that all the time. We'll not be able to explore everything today, but I will give a literature that you have to read to get that done. So we have example, line chart. So we need to know the specific, the right type of visualization for a specific data set or scenario. So let's explore this. Line chart. Line charts are dynamic visuals that exhibit what? Trends and changes over time. So if you are looking for trend and changes over time, you need to have line charts when you do your visualization.
Yeah.
Irrespective of the platform you use or tools you are using. So you need to choose line chart to represent it because you want to see trends and what changes over time. For example, a line chart could be used to illustrate the stock market performance of a company over a year, showcasing the daily closing prices. The upward and down trend of the line would indicate the stock overall performance, highlighting periods of growth, decline, and stability. Can you give me another example? Real example from
an example will be in the workplace. In the morning, the line chart peaks. Everyone is vibrant. They're ready to go all out. after lunch, when everyone has had heavy lunch or heavy or snacks or food, or in the typical African case, after we've eaten our jollof rice, it starts to peak downwards. The line starts to go downwards because productivity becomes low. So in the morning, the line goes up. In the afternoon, it starts coming down because the energy has dwindled. People are tired. Meetings have become a bore. Everybody just wants to go home. So you see that pattern in a lot of organizations. So it goes up and then it comes down. But in the NHS case, during the week, it's quiet. So the line chart will probably be stable. It will be at an equilibrium. And then over the weekend, it peaks because people have drunk themselves to stupor. So they're all ending up in the emergency units. And then the line is picking up again.
Think another example.
Is that
Okay.
Same thing on cars as well. Especially during the winter period, people buy new cars during that period. So loads of and that's when deals come up. It's normal around the insurance at this time. They bring out deals at this very moment. And the government also have implemented policies on brokers as well to cut down prices on electric and hybrid cars. Given it's kind of like it plays with the mind of anyone using a diesel or a strictly petrol vehicle. And you notice that, okay, other cars are getting good deals. Why is your car not part of that deal? And it's just because of the model of your car. And that's the trick with the government.
I think in addition, I think in addition, the line chart is quite representative in every industry that I've known, because it's just a clear and straightforward picture representation of the trends and changes over time that shows the performance of the enterprise or company. A typical example, if I must give, is in the forex markets. Like I told you, which barely a year ago I joined. It shows you the trend on how the movement, the demand and supply of forex money and all that stuff. You can have it high or high low. It's just a map that goes down and deep. It can even shows you your safe zone where you have to, keep and you just remain in that safe zone so that you don't lose your fund. So the line chart is as practically the representative in almost every industry that I know of. Thank you.
Yeah. Before you come in, let me ask. Paul, can you talk?
I should speak.
No, I want to say Paul. If Paul can talk, where he is. Okay. Bridget can't talk because I know where Bridget is. Sean, can you talk? Can you speak? Sean, are you there? Because you need to speak. Okay. Tony, are you able to speak now? All right. So
maybe it's a connection issue.
Yeah.
I think Tony sent a message that is at work.
Yeah. If you want to speak.
Okay, I was going to say during the summer holidays, the airline tickets, the airline prices shoot way high up because everyone is trying to get away for summer. So any airline you try to book on during that period, the prices would have peaked all-time high. Then between the months of January to April, their prices come down. So the line is downwards. And then going towards summer, it starts to pick up. And then after the summer holidays, I think around about September, when schools are back in session, it starts to go down again until it gets to December. And then everyone is trying to book their tickets to get home again for Christmas or something. So that's a very good representation of a line chart where it's peaking and where it's going down and downward and spiral and all that.
Yeah. So please, all these scenarios, put them in your heart, everyone. Put them, because you can be interviewed one day, especially when you work in an airline company, when you have data like that, you can always make reference to them. Okay, I will send you literature on this. Okay, and let's talk about the next one. Bar chart. Bar charts are used to represent categorical data. How to categorize your data in a form, and then making comparison across different categories so that you can easily understand and visualize the data. Okay, so categorical data. Okay, so please take advantage of going to the chat box. There are things we put there by barrister as well. Okay, now now if you imagine a bar chart displaying sales figures of different products in a retail store over a month, the length of the bars, maybe upward or horizontally or vertically, represent the sales volume or revenue generated by each product, enabling quick comparison of performance between products. So what product do you have in the shop that perform most? Is it yo-yo or baby food or different kind of product or milk? So why is it like that? You categorize those data because maybe this kind product is categorized as beverages or perishable goods within a short space of time that need to be used, or you can categorize those goods and automatically have a data from them how they perform. Okay, so can you give me an example to that effect?
Is that in a shop or it doesn't
You
matter?
can use this is about
Okay,
sales.
so in a sales scenario, boots will sell more during the winter. Winter coats will sell more during the winter, so the bar charts for those ones will be quite high during the winter. Summer wears like flimsy tops or flimsy dresses will be low during the winter period. The bar chart for those will be low. Slippers, sandals will be low, and things like necklaces, even earrings will be low because during the winter you're all covered up. You're not even bothered about whether you're showing jewelry or not. Then come summer, you'll find that the sales of those particular things will spike. The slippers, sandals will go up, flimsy clothes will go up, all the bar charts for things like that, summer wear, they will all go up. Whilst the ones for winter, like boots and thick socks and scarves and the rest, woolly hats and the rest, they will all their bar charts will be low in a particular sales shop. That will show the differences between all of them if you're displaying them on the bar charts. Another example will be, say, for example, rural-urban migration, which is to do with population. You find that the age grade between maybe 18 to 35, they're all on the move towards the urban areas, while the age grade of between 70 and above, they're all in the rural areas. So that's in the villages. So you find that if you put that in a bar chart, you find that people between the ages of 18 to 35 are always on the move, looking for new jobs, new pasture and all that. And then those people between the ages of probably 50 to 65, they're static in one place. The bar would not move because now they've settled, they've got what they want. They are just in a job waiting for their pension to get to them. So that bar will be static. And then the younger children, of course, there's a movement there because they've left the primary school, they're going to the secondary school. So it can represent all sorts of things in the bar charts.
Yeah, so your example is about demograph with respect to migration. Okay, that's very good. Good I see when what you have, well, one of the challenges you have.
Another example would have been a country's resource, where most of the products they make comes from one source, i.e., crude oil, and the byproducts of crude oil is petrol, gasoline, diesel, um, uh, uh, kerosene, some other byproducts, and if we don't, if the organizing or the organizations do not put these things into different categories so that they can give a proper account of how these things are being dispensed, then there will be issues around proper accounting problems involving these various products. So, in addition to what Madam Ye have said, these different products must be in such a way that must be categorized such that we can give a proper account in the form of bar chart representations of these various different products. That's my take.
Yeah, that's a very good example. That's why you see this bar chart issue, when you're dealing with very, very large and complex data, to categorize them properly, it can be more clustered than as expected. Okay, so to overcome how clustered it is, you have to consider the grouping properly. And if you don't group them properly, it might not give you a better insight. Okay, so I mentioned it earlier by saying that maybe within the range of 0 to 100, these are the kind of categories. Between these 101 to 200, but then within those range, there could be less performing, there could be high performing. So if we put them together, they could be more cluster in terms of representation. So we must really be careful, like as you said, Omo, to put them in the right category. If we don't put them right, then automatically the representation might not be readable. So now it might require to use other technology to either expand them in a way and bring the category in a way of proper ranging so that it can give a proper insight as we may. Bar chart, that's what bar chart is. Category represent category data, while the other one represent trends and what? And changes over time. That's good. So we have pie chart. We've done line chart, we've done pie chart and bar chart, and now we're talking about pie chart now. So what pie chart represents is proportions of a whole, where each slide symbolizes a percentage or proportion of the total. Excuse me, proportion of a whole. When you have 360, pie chart 360, and say this percentage represents the amount that is amount of sales or revenue from Europe, this one, amount from US, this amount from Africa. Or we're talking about the demographic population that are involved in terms of sales or buying trend from so Africa, from Europe, from so you're talking, this is in proportion and it's in percentage, proportion of the entire percentage, or percentage of or proportion of the total or of what is expected. So if we have 100%, which is 360 in pie chart, then we have to look at the proportion within the total of 100%, how many percentage that is does this product or various product represent? Very important. So can somebody also tell me another example?
Well, I think it's pie charts. It's something that features in our daily living activities. Take a typical example of a household where we as families, we buy clothing, rent of the house, cost of the food, water rates, light bills. If we put it in a pie chart, and you can actually quantify that in percentages, such that it can be represented. This amount, 10% goes for the rent of the house, 20% is for food, another 10% for water, and and so on. So it's just, I think it's a straightforward thing that makes us understand how we represent our monthly, could be weekly spending, monthly spending, yearly spending. And in that case, in that point, we'll be able to get a total representation of an expectation that next year, do we increase food, or do we increase more things in the house? Do we increase this and that in the house? Then, apart from the micro description of pie charts, even on a bigger, on a bigger terms, the budget can be represented in pie charts.
That is it.
And it now represents what the government hopes or intends to spend, or what it has spent in the past.
Yeah.
So it's just a comparison of, what you intend to spend or what you spent in the past, or you want to maintain same.
That's correct.
So all three of them. So it's just a representation.
Yeah.
That's it.
So if you have data, for example, different kind of set of data, and this data will be like, we're talking about budget data. Please, can you represent this in me? Can you visualize this data for me using Excel? Okay, you can have some data out, like as you said now. If somebody is having £100 in a month, so if the £100 is meant to take care of the entire things in the house, for example, and then you begin to talk about food, rent, water, telephone, this and that and that and that. So how much of the food will be represented in the total amount of money we have in terms of budget? Then you visualize it in a pie chart. You're talking about percentage of this going to food, percentage of this going to this. This is also in every company. Okay, the challenge that you have is in a pie chart is how you compare values accurately. Okay, especially when slides are very similar in size. So when you have arrays of items that you need to represent as a proportion in the total of the pie chart, they could be very infinitesimal. So we don't know how it could be represented, because they could be very, very small. So how would that be? So probably, we need to have more robust tools to know how to produce such, even if it requires you now investing more money in that. Okay, that's very good. We have histogram. Have you heard the word histogram before? Histogram actually represent data in a more graphical form. So it's a graphical representation used to display distribution of numerical data by grouping them into intervals and a bin along the horizontal axis. So, for example, we have a histogram presenting the distribution of student scores on the standardized test. So the x-axis might represent the score intervals of such as 0 to 20, 21 to 40, etc. While the y-axis, the frequency and number of students falling within each interval. So this histogram illustrates the distribution of scores, indicating whether they are normally distributed, skewed, or exhibit other patterns. So can somebody also give me an example of such again?
Pastor, to be
Sorry?
honest, histogram is a very difficult. Histogram is a very
That's what
difficult for
yeah.
me when I did statistics in school. I know it's one of those areas I fail on regularly. It's histogram, so it's a bit
Don't worry,
I know
you will fail this one
it's a bit.
because you are using you're using software, so it will be so easy. Anyway,
Yeah.
the concept need to be understood, and by grouping like a population, if it was speaking about population as a demograph, you can say age range of people could be, Barrister talk about example of pie chart is a comparative study of various policies here and in Europe globally. Yeah, absolutely. Get in touch with the chat box and get something there. So normally, Mother was speaking about, well, she was thinking about a grouping of people in like what she was talking about population migration or whatever, or age range in between 0. So 35 of age, and from there to we use histogram to actually have a domain to which we take such a decision, which category of people or a grouping of people that are valuable in. Can use it to also determine demographic of a thing, and it might be very difficult sometimes because of appropriate numbers that you may use to represent such a grouping. Okay, we can oversimplify it by having an excessive granularity in terms of looking at whether it's real or not, no matter how it is. But it's a way of representing representing data as well by grouping. All right, we have a lot in visualization, but these are the key ones. We have a scatter plot. We have also area chart. We have bubble chart as well. We also have heat map, and we have quadruplex map, and we also have a tree map, which is very good. We also Gantt chart. The Gantt chart is very important, especially when you are a planner as well.
Gantt chart, yeah.
Yeah, we have what's called cyclic diagram. We also have word cloud, and we have network diagram. We also have box and whisker plot as well. Everything that I've just shown you will be sent to you when I'm sending the literature across to you. But in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to ask some few questions. I'm going to ask some few questions on data visualization. Is that okay to everyone?
Okay.
Okay. So, and I want answer, these are interview questions. What is data visualization and why it is important?
So come again.
What is data visualization and why is it important?
Okay, let me give it a try though.
Yeah, you want to phone a friend, no problem.
Data visualization is, like we rightly said, in its definition, is both an art and a science, but is a clear representation of data in its raw form, such that it can be used to analyze and to analyze the insights of what those data can be used for. It can be used as an insight to what data can be used for, and it can be instantly be consumed when it is analyzed, such that third-party users can benefit from it, shareholders, stakeholders can benefit from it, as it's in the way it is being presented. So the second part of the question is what? Sorry.
Right. So why is it important?
Okay. The importance of it is that companies can derive benefit from the insights of such data, in the sense that they will be able to analyze the risk and benefits of their investments. They will be able to analyze and get close to perfect picture or numbers of what their profits, sales, and the target market of where their products will be going.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, it makes it more understandable and actionable. So immediately they see it, they can run with it.
Okay. Thank you, Louis.
Yes, Pastor. Data visualization itself, it translates information into virtual context to make data easier for the human brain to understand in order to pull in insights. And also the main goals are to me, is to identify patterns, trends, outline large data to pattern and trends to large data sets.
That's correct.
That's my idea of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very important. You need it, because if you have that in your mind, you feel something. So why am I doing this? Why am I visual? Because when you go for a job, you ask me your data visual. Can you just tell me about what you have done? You say my previous job, my previous role, I led an initiative of data visualization, because there have been the problem of wrong visualization of data. So I look at the root cause of it, just that maybe they are not the tool they use may not be robust enough, or data hasn't got integrity for them to be well visualized. So, and why do I need, because they are not having a proper, a representation of information that is required. And it is crucial that I have to carry out that initiative in order to comprehend the complex data properly. So identify patterns and make, data-driven decisions more effectively than raw data alone. And this has resulted to an insight, good insight into reality, reduce 20% error during visualization process. So it's just also initiative as well. So make sure you know what data visualization is. Of course, it's actually a geographical representation of information or data. Simple and simple. Okay, and why is it important? Talking about it enables so many things to be read by all stakeholders, as we have just said, which is very good, really good. Okay, know what it is. I put the limited answer on the chat box. So if I say explain the difference between exploratory and explanation data visualization, what would you say?
Between exploratory. Exploratory is trying to investigate. Well, it takes us back to what our prescription, and the types of data visualizations we may be facing. But if I can go with your words, exploratory is when you're trying to investigate what the use of data, or what you want to use data for, which probably you may look at it from the past, data that is available, investigate it, see the patterns and trend, and plan for what you want to use today or in the future. Then explanatory is data that you already have, and you have a need to explain it to those who may have a need for it, like shareholders,
Stakeholders too.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I like this tribe. Sometimes if you want to relate, always bring example in. With examples, you can always be there. One of the key things that a phenomenally does is if you ask her a question about something, yeah, instead of her to even define it, you will define it from example. So by the time she finish her example, you don't even need to ask no question anymore. So which is very good. You quite really, you're able to really do the explanation. So the difference is that exploratory data visualization is used for data analysis and discovery. And when you use a Power BI, you analyze the data. You're exploring what the data can give. Okay? You want to discover what has been in data that need to be cleansed or transformed. So this exploring, you're exploring the data. What explanatory visualization means, you focus on communicating the findings and insight to others. You see how it is now. You explore data by discovering and look at what the data can give to you by analysis. And while the other one, you communicate the data by focusing your findings you have found, you go, and inside that, you bring from it to others. That is the difference. Please take note of that. So when you're talking,
so an example will be why sales are not doing well in a shop.
That's correct.
You explain why they're not doing well, and then you explain to the stakeholders why the sales have been down.
Yeah, but that's after your exploration analysis.
That's after the exploration, yes.
Yeah.
So you communicate.
In order to interpret that, you may need to, like you said, Pastor, exploratory is more of cleansing, and also what's that word?
Analysis.
Analyzing data in their right form.
Yeah.
For instance, some sales might be in decimal points, of which you have to change them in order to make sense.
Yeah.
And make it a lot more explanatory to the stakeholders.
Transformation.
Yeah.
ETL. So when you now visualize it in a way, from your visualization, you're able to have insight into reality that you need to communicate your findings to stakeholders.
True.
Yeah. So can somebody tell me the difference between a stakeholder and a shareholder?
Stakeholder. Yeah. A stakeholder is anybody who has an interest in an ongoing venture.
That's correct.
Then a shareholder is any person too who has invested, contributed in some form of assets or money.
That's correct.
To ensure, to ensure that.
I think everybody should clap for Omo. Yeah, I think.
Thank you. I've received it. Thank you.
This thing, when I lecture, I asked keywords. I asked the managers and directors I'm kind of speaking to. I will ask them this question. The words strategy, tactical, plan, and the monetary control, evaluations. Evaluation means there's the word value inside the evaluation. That is where the value of what you have put together. So I ask questions like stakeholders, shareholder, because many people, if you tell them to define stakeholder, they define you shareholders. Okay, not all stakeholders are shareholder, but there's no shareholder that is not a stakeholder.
True.
Okay. True. Barrister, your hand is up. It will be a privilege to hear from you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting to also add that not all shareholders have actually contributed financially, but they've contributed in one way or the other. For instance, I give you a very good case in point. The charge was asked, the architect that actually drew the chart. We all know what the chart building is, isn't it? The highest
Yeah, we've been there.
building in UK, just
Myself-
by
Myself,
yes,
and
just
you, myself and you will be there before.
absolutely, yes. So he was asked if he wanted what he wanted, you know, just to appreciate him, compensate him. They gave him an option of money, shares, or the penthouse. Anyway, he opted for shares and the penthouse. Today, that penthouse, you won't believe how much that penthouse is going for.
Wow.
So he didn't contribute financially, but what he did, you know, that was how he became part of it, and that translated to monetary or funds.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Barrister. It's a privilege to hear your voice, irrespective of your time schedule.
Thank you, Prof.
Almost just said something, almost said, that was almost said financially or asset. You see?
Yeah.
Um,
So
when
that is asset. Yes.
Yeah, when someone made the word asset, a lot of
Yes.
people, you see, this is why these terms are very important. It could be
Yes.
just IP, it could be intelligent property.
Mm.
You become an asset holder, you can have asset as intelligent property. Okay.
And that means, Pastor, investing doesn't actually necessarily has to be money or stock that you've got.
That's right.
Could be also
Yes.
a building as well that that is being used for a business, and you decide, instead of them buying you out, you decided to convert that to be a stakeholder.
Thank you. That's what Omo referred to there, and that's what Barrister also referred to. You see, that's why when somebody is speaking, when I listen and know that person has gotten what he's about to say, I clap for Omo because of a reason, because he used the right word for it. And right technology, when you are interviewing, when somebody listens to the way you articulate what your ideas and what you experience are, people will know, this is somebody who has been there. Okay? Just like what's there.
But in an organization, is there any category about for shareholders on how they came about their shares, or they just tag them shareholders? It doesn't mean shareholder by stock or shareholder by investments.
Like as you rightly said, the key directors and share of those
Okay.
the key directors and the chief executive, they come out with the shares. So there are different kind of shares, ordinary share, debenture, and a different kind of shares. So depends on the one they are floating. And somebody can convert his IP into monetary. Okay, when you the intelligent property you have, so okay, can you quantify my intelligence that my input into the investment in terms of money? So they now contributed the intelligence into it by conversion. So there are so much the way people can really put themselves in terms of shares, even if all of them have to be expressed in a monetary form, but then they might not put it their real physical money or capital in. So it depends on how they define their shares. Okay. I think I have something, and Mary put something in the chat box earlier. Which one is that? Let me go and read it. Mary, can you help us? Where is that one? Is Mary, is it? Did you send it personal to somebody? If anybody can get it.
Let me she sent it earlier on.
Is it
about
to
data breach?
Okay, yeah.
Let me just copy it again.
I'll put it there. Yeah, that's very good. I like it.
Okay, so I've put it in there again.
Mm.
I don't know if you can click. So it's all to do with it's just opening up. It said, what does the London NHS hospital data theft mean for patients? So apparently, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, apparently a Russian criminal gang had stolen highly sensitive NHS patient data, including the results of blood tests for HIV and cancer. After a cyber attack this month, the group posted nearly 400 gigabytes of data overnight from a hack of Synovis, a private NHS joint venture that provides pathological services such as blood tests and transfusions. 7 hospitals run by 2 NHS trusts, Guy's and St. Thomas and King's College, have been affected by the ransomware attack, right? So if you know your blood test, if you know you've given blood in any of those hospitals, be aware your data might be out there somewhere. The Russian gang killing, the Russian gang that carried it out has released data it extracted during the cyber heist. The release of private information suggests that Sinovac has refused to pay a ransom to Quillen to decrypt its systems and delete any stolen data. Its Sinovac said that an analysis of the data was underway in conjunction with the NHS, the National Cyber Security Center, and other partners, which aims to confirm whether the data was taken from Sinovac's system and what information it contains. The hackers have a huge cache of data they have stolen from Sinovac, which relates to about 300 million separate patient interactions with the NHS going back an unspecified but large number of years. The Guardian has been told the NHS has released no details of what this data includes, but includes the result tests of blood tests of patients that have been taken before having an operation, including cancer and transplant surgery, because they have suspected sexually transmitted infection or were being checked to see if they have HIV. Quillen Hall also includes data showing the results of tests that patients have had in course of being cared for and treated by, according to a well-placed source, multiple private healthcare providers. So they're asking, well, I think one of the questions Mary was trying to find out, it says, how can I find out if my data has been taken? Or maybe how can we sue them if my data has been taken?
Okay. First, sorry if I can come in here.
Yeah, come in.
First, from a security point.
Yes.
Hackers, when they steal data, right? There are different type of data sets on an individual. Now, what do they actually want to use this data set for? What does your particular data contain? Does it contain your bank account? Does it contain other sensitive information? Now, if for any reason there's a data breach or there's an hack in process, right? That is why you see the NHS are not willing in any form or manner to pay hackers, because one, when they analyze it, what does the hacker wants to analyze? What does the hacker wants to benefit from it, such that if they bring it out that Ego has HIV, right? What will they do with it? Right? Okay, fine. People will see it as character assassination. Oh, so Ego now has HIV. That will demoralize me.
Okay, I can tell you right away.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can tell you right away.
There's
if
a
you
breach,
don't want,
a very huge breach.
Yes,
breach
if
because
you don't
no,
want,
I'm not saying there's no breach. There is a breach.
Sorry.
I'm
if
saying
you
now
don't
that
want, yes,
okay.
say you don't want your partner to know your past history, because some people are very secretive when it comes to history. You don't want your partner to know about your history, and then that comes out.
Yeah.
And then that comes out.
Madam, not just even that. This is like a can of worm which the hackers have just brought out.
Or even the insurance
A
policy. Now you
huge
have
insurance
lied.
part of it. That's what I was going to. A lot of people have told lies to claim money.
Okay. So I just want, because I want to close before now. You are pushing higher, and I need this question to be answered by 4 of you that hands are up now, because who is speaking now? So let me know who is speaking.
I was just finishing.
You're just finishing. So that means we have a long way to go.
No, just 1 or 2 minutes. What I'm saying is that security agents, particularly in the IT industry, they tend to analyze the whole of these things. That's why you find out that over many years of it's not the first time hacker breaking into NHS, right?
But are they supposed to break into NHS? They are not supposed to.
No, that's a different issue. We'll come to that. Nothing is 100% secured. The important thing is that over the histories of hackers breaking into NHS, they've not paid 1 dime as ransom. Not 1 dime. Ask why. despite the whole thing you've just analyzed. Okay, companies will get this, companies will get that, people, the public will know of your, they've not paid one dime and they've not compensated anybody. Ask why. You understand? Because the information is irrelevant.
Okay. Thank you.
Are you sure they haven't paid, or they've kept it secret that they actually paid?
You
That
know
was
what?
that was what I
They
was
will
about to
pay,
say.
but they won't let the public know that they've paid.
No,
That's just it. They won't let the public know.
once again,
Even
you are
back
needed.
home, in Nigeria, I've
Hang
heard of.
on. First and foremost, don't forget that you are in a developed country. Everything is budgeted for and accounted for. NHS will never come out and comment. It is what is budgeted for that you should work with. What you don't know, you cannot work with it. And that is data. That is what you are reading today. Data visualizations, data governance. You cannot work with what you don't know.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, they ask you question no more. Say, are you not sure? Are you sure? So because they are looking example of a country that is in United States of Africa, when they will pay behind, and they will say we're not going to be paying. So that use that as an example.
Barrister,
yeah. Louis, after you, Barrister, then we finish it.
Yeah. So in regards to this NHS issue that's come out, to me it's a kind of worm. Not only is the data is very, very valuable. It's a valuable data.
Mm-hmm.
Leaking the NHS patients' data out there for anyone to take. Yes, the ransom could not be paid. That is fine. In respect to them getting that data, that one has to do with cybersecurity, and that depends on who the NHS paid to protect their data, or whatever software they've paid for that should give them at least a 98% chance of protection. For like what Mr. Almost said, nothing is, no data is actually guaranteed to be kept safely. Yes, but normally under critics and fundamentals of how these things work, they're supposed to be guaranteed. Like, for instance, the bank is not supposed to disclose your date of birth to anyone. You yourself, they won't even disclose it to you. You will be the one to disclose it to them. It's just practice of policies on how it's practiced. They will see your date of birth, but they can't disclose it to you. You have to disclose it to them. It's a form of security to make sure they are dealing with the right person. That's how sensitive such data is. Now, in respect to going back to the NHS now, I'll speak from the insurance side of it and life insurance as well. It's out there, whatever information you gave life insurance or insurance itself, information about itself. And there are people who have, on companies who have actually benefited from such information. Such information you've given them could be false. This could bring it out. And lawsuits will come in. And those companies, they will hire other companies to tap into this data and search whether or not such people have given them the right data. It has to correspond to what they have. It's a kind of worm. That's the way I describe it. Okay. So definitely fines will be paid.
Well, we wouldn't know, like almost said, yeah, the budget is already there. So if anything that they have to pay and agreed, it could be from either part of contingency that accounts for the overruns or underruns.
I'm very sure the NHS is paying a huge amount of money to protect their data.
Well, okay, we assume that, but we cannot say what we've done. So we can work on assumptions.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
When we are speaking, we should say definitely, because we're dealing with assumptions, and you have to have it from your inference, you'll be able to confirm whether they have done or not. You see. Mary, do you want to speak? Because I'm on Barrister.
Yes, I want to say something, and it's just like a question. So as a professional, as a data governance manager, are we supposed to say that data is not guaranteed? Or, I mean, Omo made mention of something about data.
Data is guaranteed. Data protection is guaranteed. The only thing, when there's a breach, there's a breach. It's guaranteed.
Exactly.
When there's a breach, because you can't say you are working, you are guaranteeing You have actually carried, an interview and you say, oh, in my previous job, I carried out a data protection initiative and it was fine, resulted to 100% guarantee. Also, then you now say there's no data guarantee. What kind of things that won't work? But there's a breach, And once the breach occurs, as we are guaranteeing something, the breach people are still working on your guarantee issue.
Exactly.
So this is how it is. I can show you even in the Bible, when people were planning to build a tower to go and reach God, anything they talk is what God is planning. As they are planning this, God is planning. And every statement they did to the end, that's how God planned. So that's how it is. So people are always very smart, So Barrister, if you're here, I will be very happy that for you to speak to, especially specifically on this issue so that we can close. If you are privy to speak where you are, because your hands will be up. There are a lot of people making your hands to be up for a long time. Hello? Okay, so if you can't speak, then maybe we can debate this another time.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you now.
Okay, just wanted to make a point. Like Efe said, it is possible that some people have been settled, but NHS decides to make it, because not in the open. That is a possibility. Omar could be right, but I don't think we can just make that generalized statement to say that they've not paid anything, because what they don't want is to open a floodgate. Because if it is published that they pay this, pay that, they might open a floodgate that you just see a lot of. That's why when you're doing what we call compromise agreements and things like that, or when some establishment or organization, if you actually, before now, especially in
without prejudice.
Without prejudice, yes. In the world of media and press, you'll find that the women are actually paid far less than what their male counterparts are paid. But the women had to complain, and now they try to be fair as much as possible. So in UK, going forward, is that a lot of things that we don't think happen could actually be happening on the ground.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
that was just the point. Go on.
Another clear example is this politics that's going on, that the news goes out that part of the conservative are using the data which they have of them to actually make bets, and they are going to cash out on it.
Yes.
For instance, they even went as far as even disclosing names on it. And these are people who have live data of what's going on. They could actually predict what this next election is going to look like, and they are cashing it on it already.
Yes.
That is what they call fishing rendezvous.
Exactly.
That is
people going around.
Yes.
Yeah. But you see, the position is.
Last question.
And also, sorry, Omar was saying something. That the position is what?
The position is we can only act on what we are saying. Even because the law, sir, is that the law cannot presume and say, oh, because of the belief or something that cannot be proven. We cannot use that as something to analyze situation.
As far as we are right, in law, we have what's called precedents and jurisprudences. Yeah. So we also have what is called matter of probabilities. So it depends on who is in charge of looking into those things.
Okay.
So you see this argument, I didn't take side in it. I put it in two ways, because you never can tell what can happen until you'll be very amazed that something is actually done that you listen to.
Yeah.
So that's why I say we should not be categorically say this or that.
And just to add, in fact, when we're talking of critical analysis, we don't take sides.
No.
You know, you really have to argue on both sides.
You have to be open-minded to make sure you can have a
open-minded, the pros and cons. In fact, speaking about data, so that we know how data is. In fact, these days, like they say, there's no hiding place. And also with the internet.
Yes.
Do you know that the current Prime Minister actually opened a website before he actually resigned? 6 months. 6 months.
Yeah,
so they are using that thing against him.
Yeah.
You know, quite frankly, if there was a vote, there's no way he would have been the Prime Minister anyway, like we all know.
Of course.
You know, but I think it's the way God just wanted it to be, that he became the Prime Minister. This guy had everything planned.
Yes.
Everything planned, you know, 6 months before.
Yeah, so,
you know,
I mean, I know these things are very important. And we look at this about data. So I think, thank you so much for coming. I quite appreciate your presence.
Yeah, but Pastor, sorry, just one moment. One thing people should always understand. One thing everybody should always understand. Like what Barrister just said, there's no hiding place. Data is everywhere. Data is just how do I access it? If I want to know the date of birth of Louis there now, how do I access it? Is the issue, or that the data is everywhere. So it's not. That's why I'm saying
Pastor, that's true. But the only way crime can happen is in Africa, where data is not kept. That's why anybody does anything, and they find it difficult to trace. But unlike advanced countries where data is actually an important thing and they take it very highly, this is why they are able to pinpoint and narrow down the trace of anything that goes wrong or the faults. They can look into faults and find out what's going on.
At the moment, there is improvement in data in Africa at the moment. So it's just that people are collecting data every time at the moment. So, all right, thank you so much. I really appreciate your presence. And
sorry, by the way, I'm sorry that I couldn't speak before now. Congratulations to our Prof and CEO, Efe. You know, it's when we hear things like this, they are good testimonies. And we should always key in. I'm not sure if you read my chat. Let's always key in things like this. There are jobs all over. In fact, you'll be amazed. I'm not sure if you actually showed how you could negotiate when they tell you, oh, they are going to pay you 100,000, and they ask you, is that okay? You know, for us, we just jump in. No, there's a reason why they ask you, are you okay with that? And you could always negotiate. You know, because they know your worth.
Yeah.
They know your worth. And you'll be surprised that it's even possible before that the person that was there in that job was probably receiving almost times 2 of that.
Absolutely.
So that's why you should always negotiate. And like we've always said, let's take this course seriously, this training seriously. You know, it's the new crude oil, it's the new oil. Absolutely. You know, it's the new oil. Data coming, like Ojobo was just saying, the importance of data cannot be overemphasized, and data could also be described as sacrosanct, especially in some economy. We know some economy that they don't take data as everything, although pastors say they are improving, but we don't see what they are doing with the data. If they are improving, there's no way the current president would have been president, you know, because it's very, very clear. It's really sad when you think about it. When we start discussing things like this, you know, for me, it's very emotional. It's very emotional.